this occur daily. The sad thing is, we're used to seeing that. It doesn't faze us anymore.
In today's society, texting while driving has become a very popular activity in vehicles. Drivers that use handheld devices in a moving vehicle are 4 times as likely to get into an accident as those that don't. People that use cell phones in a moving vehicle, even hands-free or not, have the same reaction time as those that have the legal limit of alcohol. Now, everybody texts while they drive. Almost everybody. Young people and older people. Now, to prove this, I went and I asked my friend Austin a few questions, and I also asked my father a few questions. This is what they came up with.
What are your general thoughts on texting while driving?
Well, basically you shouldn't do it, but we all live in the real world, so if you are going to do it, you better be awful quick about it. And unfortunately now that they've made it illegal, which I don't think it should be illegal because you can't make everything illegal, but used to be you could hold up the cell phone up by the steering wheel and text and do your thing. Now that they've made it illegal, people are holding the cell phone down below by their seat so that the police don't see it. So now your eyes are going to be going all the way down here to the seat and then back up, and then down to the seat and back up. So now that it's illegal, it's even more dangerous. So that's my thought on that.
Do you think that this is an epidemic among young people that should be stopped?
I have absolutely no idea how many young people, or old people for that matter, are texting while they're driving. I have no way to say that it's an epidemic.
49% of teenagers at least do.
Drive and text?
Yeah.
I haven't, that's the first I've heard of it.
It was on a statistic from Nationwide Insurance Company.
Probably the same amount of people, same percentage, probably also go through Burger King and McDonald's drive-thrus and are chewing a sandwich and worrying about the drink that's in between their legs spilling, which is probably at least as dangerous as texting. So I would say you probably shouldn't eat and drive, you probably shouldn't text and drive. Whether it's an epidemic, I don't know.
Do you text while you drive?
Very infrequently. I used to all the time when I worked for a telephone company. I was a professional driver, and that was still illegal to do that. But even when I was able to hold the phone up here and text and drive, there were a couple of times when I had some close calls and I realized, oh, this is stupid. I'm not going to do this anymore. Especially seeing as I wasn't driving my own vehicle. It was a company truck. So, yeah, I have. Now it's very infrequently. It's only when usually my son texts me when I'm on my way to pick him up, and he asks me, where are you or how long will you be, and I'll text just the letter or the number 5 or something along those lines just to have a quick response.
Do you think that this activity will stop in the future?
No.
What are your general thoughts on texting while driving?
I feel that texting while driving is something that should be looked on very closely because it's very wrong to do and it can cost many people lives.
Do you think that it's right that they made it a law banning it? Because that would make it more unsafe holding your cell phone down by your side than up at the wheel where you could look off into the distance.
I think that because they have banned it, so now that people are trying to be a little more private about it, trying to make it a little less obvious, so now they're looking down by their waist, which takes a longer time to react if you have to look at your waist to the road.
Do you think that this is an epidemic among young people that should be stopped?
I feel like it's an epidemic. More and more people get cell phones each day at a younger age. People are more getting used to them, and so if more people are getting used to them, they'll always want to use them, even when they are in their car, which is becoming a hazard to society.
Do you text while you drive?
There's the occasion here and there where I have to call on the phone, which is also not a good thing to do. But I try to keep my phone down in my console when I'm driving.
Do you recognize or acknowledge that this is an activity that breaks the law in New York State and many other states?
I recognize it as breaking the law. I feel like it's worse to text while you're actually driving, but if you're just sitting at a light, I guess that's more of an activity than breaking the law, but otherwise it's still frowned upon by our society.
What do you think about this theory I had where if they didn't ban talking on the phone, then more people would be talking on the phone and less people would be texting? Do you think that that would be an accurate assumption?
I feel like that's accurate. Since it's against the law to talk, and it's very easy to see if you're talking on the phone because it's right up against your ear, that more people are trying to be more discreet and hiding their phone down by their lap or using any other kind of private way to text because that phones are banned for calling.
Do you have any interesting stories or funny stories that happened?
You know, I do have a funny story. My uncle, he's about 38. He was up in the Adirondacks, and we were up there on a snowmobile trip, and he was driving his truck on our way to pick us up from the local bar. I wasn't drinking, of course, but you know, my dad and his buddies were, and he was on his way. He was driving, looking at the scenery, looking at the snow, and he saw a car coming up, and turns out he got into an accident with the other car. The other car merged into his lane. Nobody was necessarily seriously hurt, minor bumps and bruises, but I guess the reason behind the guy he merged into the other lane is he was texting while driving.
I hope that you guys, by seeing this, realize that there's not a huge age variant between people that text and drive. Old people and younger people do it. Now I realize that I can't get you to change your mind on texting while driving. I'm just a kid doing a documentary for school. But listening to all this, I hope that you would change your mind, or at least think twice before you text while you drive. Stay safe.